Hello. Welcome to Project 8 Podcast. I'm your host, Steve Mann. A few things to get out here. If you would like to follow our content, just look for us on Facebook, YouTube, X, formerly known as Twitter, Rumble, Spotify, wherever you get your podcasts. If you're a musician, please email me or hit me up on Facebook. My email address is info@ project8podcast.com. Maybe we can get something together and get you on the podcast. Um, anyway, here we go. The topic today is who is responsible and who is accountable. Okay. In this provoking episode, we will delve into a crucial question that lies at the heart of the nation's progress and well being. Who exactly bears the responsibility for safeguarding the truth, fostering prosperity, and ensuring the security of the American people? Of Through insightful conversations with distinguished experts and influence, in, influential influential thinkers, we aim to shed light on the multifaceted nature of this responsibility and explore the various stakeholders involved in this vital risk, drawing on a wealth of perspectives from academia, government, and the private sector. We will engage in candid discussions about the inaccurate or incinerate interplay between government agencies, policymakers, journalists, and ordinary citizens, uncovering the unique contributions each make towards these key aspect of our social fabric. As we navigate in the increasingly concept landscape of information uh, dissemination, economic growth, and natural security threats, it becomes imperative to access the effectiveness of existing frameworks and identify potential areas, understanding the inaccurate mechanisms that underpin the well-being of the American people, while inspiring thoughtful discourse and empowering our listeners to play an active role in shaping a brighter future for our great nation. Okay. So, who is responsible and who is accountable? Because it seems like anybody that's accountable or responsible is the little guy, us, the American citizens. I'm not throwing propaganda out there. I'm just saying what I'm seeing. Okay. Um, it's always us that pay the price. Okay. So we elect these guys. They get in the office. They get their backroom deals, right? Right. And we suffer the consequences. W- Right now, we're dealing with inflation, high gas prices. Um, we're feeling the pain at the grocery stores. I mean, this ain't nothing new, folks. I mean, this has been going on. I want to say since the pandemic. The pandemic or scamdemic, whatever you want to call it, uh, put us put us in a tight spot. And now we have to the American people, have to dig ourselves out of the hole while the government is continuing to spend more money. And how is that? Because, uh, last time I checked, um, the Fed reports to Congress, okay? So, in Congress, Congress represents us, the American people. So are we not putting the right people in? I mean, think about that. They go in broke, come out rich. I mean, what's up with that? Backdoor deals, insider trading. It just seems like we just keep getting kicked and kicked and kicked. Okay. So Congress reports to us, the Fed reports. So Congress says, okay, we can spend this more money. But what if we don't have more money? Well, we'll just print it. Well, when you print money, you're causing inflation. Oh, don't worry about inflation. We're gonna put we're gonna raise interest rates to curb the inflation. Okay, here we are again on the cusp of raising interest rates again. But inflation is still there. Okay. I know I don't know what else to say about that. It's there. And let me point out something that I've been thinking about for the last couple of days. Okay. Inflation goes up every year, 2 to 3%. Well, it seems like it's been going up 2 to 3% for the last 20 years. I was just talking to somebody how, uh, I used to smoke cigarettes and all that, and I used to smoke a certain brand that used to be a buck 05 in 1995. To get those same cigarettes in 2005 were like $7. They became um, a generic brand to a premium brand over that time period. Not to mention the taxes and all that, but it just seems like we're just getting taxed. We're getting inflated constantly. Uh, you can't go to the store without spending at least $100 just on essential items like milk, bread, uh, shampoo, soaps, and all that. You go to the store, and if you got a family of 5 or 6, you might be spending $150 a trip, and that's you know, people can't live on that. Um, we gotta curb this inflation. We gotta get back, and then another thing too. I know I'm jumping around here, but another thing too is it seems like inflation never goes away, right? It goes up. I mean, look at the price of cars. Look at back in 1995, and I know I'm showing my age, but anyway, back in 1995, you can buy a decent base car, let's say $13,000. Now that base car today would be worth at least $25,000, right? Just the plain Jane, uh, no cruise control, no this or that. Maybe, well, not even a CD player anymore because you have Bluetooth and all that. But still, the price of the cars have not gone down. They just keep going up and up and up. I was reading a story, and I might have mentioned this, but I was listening to the radio. Yeah, that's what it was. I was listening to the radio where a guy bought an F-150 EV, and he paid $115,000 for it. Not to mention, he had to spend an additional, I think, $6,000 to get a charger put in his home and a charger put in his work so he can continue to charge. Went on a trip, he had to rent a car because the, the truck couldn't keep up the charge. Okay. So 115 grand for F-150. That that's a house to some people. That's a home. And the average price of the house today is like $450,000. But for us little guys, sometimes $150,000 home is all we can afford, and that might be a two bedroom, maybe a one bedroom, depending on what city and state it is. I mean, that's outrageous. Nobody's buying homes right now. Interest rates are so high. Uh, the inventory is low because the interest rates are high. So housing and real estate is getting ready to feel the pinch too. So we're getting squeezed here, folks, and I don't think it's fair, and I don't think the government is acting in our best interests. We need to come together and vote for the man or the woman that seems to be the best fit for the job. Really take a look at the person that you're voting for next, whether it's uh, state, local, um, your state or local officials, your state Congress people, uh, the U.S. Senate, the U.S. Congress. Really take a look at these people and see and ask them a whole bunch of questions to make sure they have your interest at heart. And I'm not just talking about your particular interest. I'm talking about as a collective. Are you going to lower taxes? Are you going to make um, healthcare affordable? Are you going to make big pharma responsible for their prices? These are important questions. There's people living on paycheck to paycheck. There's people living on fixed income, especially the retired and some of the elderly. You can't raise taxes on them. You can't raise medicine. You can't raise insurance because they can't afford it. You're going to drive them out of their house. We have to take care of our elderly folks because we are the only ones they have left. Okay. Um, the only, I mean, we have to do it. Okay. We have to get the right people in, and they don't have to be a politician. They can be just, a businessman that ran a successful business for, I don't know, 20, 30, 40 years. You know, um, we have to we have to take our country back. We are the people. We are the people of the United States. We have to take our country back from all this elite stuff, all this um, backdoor room deal making, the politicians filling their pockets, leaving everybody else on the cold, out in the cold. We need to get the people off the streets. We need to get them cleaned up. Okay, the nationwide we have to do this. Uh, you know, and we have to, in addition, help the people in Hawaii. I don't know if you've seen, just to change direction for a minute, but I just shared a QR code here for a GoFundMe page for the Maui people. I have not checked recently, but when I did the podcast for Maui only earlier in the day, it was at 1.8 million, and it's 2 million. Um, 2 million's the goal. I hope that it keeps going up. I want to surpass that 2 million because we have to take care of those people out there, folks. Okay. So, so I put something together here. Um, and it's like, who does the Fed report to? And it says the Fed reports to Congress. The Board of Governors in Washington, D.C. is an agency of federal government and accountable, reports directly accountable to the Congress. Uh, the Federal Reserve derives its authority from the Congress, which created the system in 1913 with an enactment of the Federal Reserve Act. Okay, so is Congress responsible for all this spending and stuff? I mean, the president can only do so much, right? Can't just override Congress. He President Obama tried with the student loan. Excuse me, that failed. Congress said, "No way, you don't have the authority." So who do we find accountable? Ask yourself that. Who do we find accountable for all this mess that we're in today? Is it Fauci with all that misinformation of gain of function where COVID originated from? I don't know. Is he part of it? I don't know. We got to find who we have to keep them responsible and accountable. If they don't do what we want, then we can vote them out. You know, maybe we should have town halls on our state representatives. Maybe we shouldn't have debates. Maybe we should have town halls on, you know, tell us what you got. Then we'll go over to the next building, see what he has. We'll make the decision. Okay. Doesn't matter if you're Democrat or Republican. We're both getting screwed either side. I feel that we're getting lied to on both ends. And they create all this misinformation to confuse us. No, here lately I've been voting conservative. Okay. In my past podcast, I told y'all I voted for Bill Clinton was my first president I voted for. He was a Democrat. I liked his policies. But the policies that we have today are just trash. But they are. Nobody is standing up except for a handful of congressmen and saying, "Hey, I call foul or I call BS." You know, um, it ain't right. You know, and I can name I know one guy that all you hear, actually two guys. That's Rand Paul, Senator Rand Paul, and Chip Roy. They're constantly raising their hand and calling foul and calling BS. Okay? It doesn't matter what it is. If it doesn't sound kosher to them, they'll be like, "Hey, no, this ain't happening." You know, we need that passion for the rest of the representatives. We don't need to say, we don't need to, just play one side, this and that. We're all American people, no matter what color or creed we come from, no matter what sex or um, sexual orientation. We're all Americans. We're one human race. Okay? So we need to come up with a plan and keep them accountable. Just keep, hey, you said you were going to do this, you didn't do that. Sorry. Uh 2 years, 4 years, whatever, you're out. Sorry. Sorry, Charlie. Um that's how I feel. And we have older people in there, over 90. I think there's what, 20 of them out there? I mean, I'm sorry, over the age of 80 that They just need to call it a day and go home and enjoy the rest of their years at home doing whatever they love to do. Okay? Because they're not representing the people. They're just playing with their own agenda, in my opinion. This is all my opinion. Okay? Um, but yeah. And all this other disinformation, right? Here, I want to play a clip. But I don't know if it's we forget of we forget the past, but you need to remember it because it's going to come around full circuit full circle. Where'd that come from? Well, it was always right there. Let me play a clip of Obama, okay?
If we are not serious about facts and what's true and what's not, and particularly in an age of social media where so many people are getting their information in sound bites and snippets off their phones, if we can't discriminate between serious arguments and propaganda, then we have problems. If people, whether they are conservative or liberal, left or right, are unwilling to compromise and engage in the democratic process and are taking absolutist views and demonizing opponents, then democracy will break down. And in an age where there's so much active misinformation, and it's packaged very well, and it looks the same when you see it on a Facebook page or you turn on your television, where some over zealousness on the part of a U.S. official is equated with constant and severe repression elsewhere. If everything seems to be the same and no distinctions are made, then we won't know what to protect. We won't know what to fight for. And we can lose so much of what we've gained in terms of the kind of democratic freedoms and market-based economies and prosperity that we've come to take for granted.
Disinformation, right? I mean, what he's saying there, I don't like what I'm going to say, but I agree with him. But on the same token, wasn't wasn't he spying on Trump during 2006 um, transfer of power? Well, he knew about the Hillary Clinton dossier for Russian collusion. But what he says there makes sense. We don't know what to do, to trust when we're told this or that. We were told follow the science. There's still people today having adverse effects of the COVID thing. Okay. So what do we believe? Who tells us? Who leads us? We need a leader that will tell us the truth, not just because it sounds good. You can tell me the truth and make me feel bad if it's something bad. But at least you told me the truth, and I would respect that. You can say, a politician can go on TV and said, you know what? I made a mistake. I thought X, Y, and Z when it was PDQ. So, and, you know, they held themselves accountable. We need more of that. I'm tired of getting lied to. I'm tired of getting BS'd just so people can get votes. Um, I have a state representative. I'm not going to name names, but I don't hear from her until it's voting season. And I'm on her I'm on her email list. Hey, it's election time. Vote for me. It's like, where you been? What have you done lately? And last go around, I was like, I think I'm going to vote for the opposition. But I didn't. I gave her another shot. And I think this time, yeah, I'm going with somebody else. I'm going to do my research. I'm going to listen to what the person has to say, and I'll make my decision on that. Because the person that's representing us right now, I can't see what the hell she's doing. I don't see her on TV. I don't see her like she's doing this or doing that. She supported this bill. She supported that bill. She was against that bill or whatever. I have not heard high nor hair. And that's the stuff I'm talking about. If you vote them in and they just sit in their comfy chair, don't do nothing, you don't hear from them, then it's time to go. We need to turn this country around. And I'm not just talking for the patriots. I'm not just because I'm a patriot. I'm not a veteran. If you listen to my podcast before, I'm not a veteran, but I do hold myself to the standard of the Constitution. Okay? I'm not a veteran. I never served, but I respect the veterans. I give to causes that support the veterans. Okay? But I consider myself to be a patriot in that respect because I love this country. I'm not a MAGA. I voted for Trump in 2016. Don't know who I'm voting for in 2024 yet. It's that's still up in the air because I'm going to do my research. Okay, I am going to do my research, and I suggest you do the same thing. We got to get the right people in there. We got to get the people in there that are for the American people, whether you're black, white, Hispanic, Asian, whatever, whatever your creed is. I'm not going to say race because we're all one race. We're all the human race. We just look different. Let's get that through everybody's, you know, let's unify people on our we don't need government to unify us. We can unify ourselves with love and respect of one another. I'm tired of fighting. And the more we fight, the more we lose the country. They're keeping us divided so they can do their thing. We already got the threat of ESG. We got the threat of digital central bank digital currency, which some people, oh, that's not going to happen. Buddy, it's all over the place. They're talking about it. And if they're talking about it, somebody's willing to do it. You got the World Economic Forum trying to take over the world. Okay. Dr. Evil up there, Klaus Schwab. Okay. We got a lot of stuff going on in America, and we need, well, I'm not saying America, we have a lot of stuff going around in the world right now. And what we need most is to unify America. That way, when the time comes to stand for America, from whatever foreign problem that comes our way, we're ready. And we're only going to get through it if we're united and not divided. We need to bring God back into the conversation. We need to have prayers at school. We need to do the Pledge of Allegiance. We need to teach history so our kids know what we've done or what our forefathers done and what has con- gone on from then till now. I think that we need to start uh, reciting the Constitution in school, especially eighth grade. You can't move on to ninth grade unless you took some kind of studies in the Constitution, Bill of Rights. We did. Yeah, you couldn't pass. You couldn't go to ninth grade unless you read the Bill of Rights. You know, um, there's a lot going on, and we need to stand together. Whether you're a Republican, whether you're a Democrat, because this is our home, and nobody is going to help us but us. So we need to, you know, roll up our sleeves and get to work and bring this country back in a state to once it was of prosperity. I mean, excuse me. I don't know about y'all. Excuse me. But the mid 90s and early 2000s before the 2008 crash was the best um, financially years that I had in my life. And I struggled, but I always had a little bit of change and money in my pocket. I was hardly ever broke. But now, I mean, I'm practically living paycheck to paycheck. I do this for fun. I don't get paid for this. I don't have sponsors. Um, I don't even get donations. So this is all on my bill. Everything, all the memberships, all the software, all this is me. And I like doing it. I like talking to the audience, the little that I have. I love you. You all know who you are. We've talked. I love you. Thanks for the support. But it all comes down to us, okay? And if we don't do something about it, we're going to lose our country or we're going to lose our freedoms. It's one or the other. You know, we're going to have central bank digital currency. We're going to have ESG. Well, I mean, we do have ESG now, but it's not as it's hidden. It's hidden in certain corporations that worry about their stakeholders. And they adopted this ESG to suffice their stakeholders. So that is quietly around. And before it goes 100% popular mainstream, they're going to need one more ingredient to sweeten the pot, and that is central bank digital currency. And once that happens, it's game over because they can track whatever transaction you did. And if you don't have a good enough ESG score, you can't travel, you can't drive, you can't go to the grocery store and feed your family. So you're going to have to be forced different behaviors so you can even eat. You can eat now without that. You can pay cash. But what if cash was gone and you relied on your card for the central bank digital currency? And they said, well, you didn't do XYZ, so we're going to shut you off. Or you use too much electric, or you use you drove your car too much. So we're gonna more or less tax you for it or shut your card off for a day or two. That's not freedom. It's not. And everybody should be opposed on that. Everybody's like, I know there's certain people out there like, oh, mega Republicans, patriots, they're so extreme. No, they're not extreme. The only thing that they're extreme on is losing their freedom, and that's the same freedom that that we all have. They're worried about losing that freedom. I think you ought to take a look in the mirror and say, "Hey, can I live without the freedoms that I have today? Tomorrow, I can't. My kids can't. My grandchildren can't. Can yours? Do you want that? Do you want to be told what to do? I don't. It's a free society. We can do whatever we want within the law. Like I said, within the law. Can't go out and do whatever we want and break the law. There's laws in place that we have to uphold. And there's also God's law that we can't forget about, the 10 commandments. You know, I don't care what religion you are. There's some kind of law in there that says thou shalt not steal, thou shalt not covet another man's wife, thou shalt not murder, thou shalt not steal, if I didn't say that already. So think about think about the freedoms you have today that you can lose tomorrow. Hold these people in office accountable. Every single one of them. We're in a dire time to where, frankly, I don't trust any of them. Any of them. I think we've been scammed. I think we've been lied to. I think we've been duped. That's just my opinion. Again, there's too much protection going on for people in power. On one hand, you got defense getting thrown for one party, and you got a prosecution on another party. Does that sound fair? One was legit, the other one is a little sketch. Is that the word that I want to use today? All the kids are saying it today. Sketch. Suspicious activity, maybe. Um, Something that they weren't supposed to do, something they did back in when they were vice president. I don't know. But it seems like there's a lot of people that hate America, and I don't understand why. When America has given them so much, and they just took, and it's like, nope, don't like America. Let's let's do something about it. Let's transform the society. No, leave it alone. So anyway, that's my little rant. I hope that you enjoyed it. Um, I'm Steve Mann, Project 8 Podcast. If you see my on the QR code on the screen, that is the QR code for helping the people of Maui in Hawaii. That is a GoFundMe, and just scan that QR code and please donate whatever you can to help those people. You can also go to Glenn Beck's website, I think mercury1.org, and donate there. You can donate at the Red Cross if you would like to donate through the Red Cross. So I don't get paid for endorsing it. These are just organizations that I found that are doing stuff for Maui. So if you want to donate, there's some options out there that I just gave you. So anyway, if you like the content, you can go to the website and donate at www.project8podcast.com. Scroll down to the bottom and click that donate button. Um, your donation would be much appreciated. It's not a requirement, but I would really appreciate it. And if you're a musician and would like to get on the show, email me at info@project8podcast.com or send me a message on Facebook. You can follow me on Rumble, YouTube, Facebook, and X, formerly known as Twitter. Somebody asked me, is like, "Oh, do you edit your stuff?" No, I don't edit. I do all my stuff live because I want you to see me for me and watch my mistakes instead of watching some polished guy come up here. I want you to know that I'm original. Everything that my opinion is my opinion comes from me and comes from my heart. I'm not trying to come on here and BS anybody or try to sell you something. Uh, this is what I do. I'm not going to sell you hopium like other people do. I'm going to tell you how it is, how I see it, and maybe we can agree, or maybe we can disagree. So again, if you want to follow me, you can follow me on Facebook, YouTube, X, formerly known as Twitter, and on Rumble. So God bless everyone of you out there. God bless the people of Maui still fighting a good fight out there, and God bless America. This is Steve Mann with Project 8 Podcast. Have a good night.